Hi, and welcome to the Weather Gurus channel on this September the 11th, 2020. This Friday, September the 11th. I just first want to thank all of our first responders and our law enforcement personnel and everyone for their sacrifices on September the 11th, 19 years ago, wherever you were during that day. And I'm sure everybody can remember. So our hearts and prayers go out to the families and to those still living with the memories, all of us still living with the memories of September 11th and the day that changed the world. Now, back to the weather front. This has been a record-breaking hurricane season, and it continues with Tropical Storm Paulette. Paulette continues to move northwest at 13 miles an hour. The pressure is down to 989. There is some strengthening and some organization of some center storms around the cluster, around the center of convection of the low pressure in the mid-levels. That's looking better organized. The winds are still sustained at 65 miles an hour and expected to become a hurricane probably by tomorrow night. By Saturday night, it is to be a Hurricane Paulette. And so one of the reasons why we're interested in Paulette, there's a lot going on. We're going to get back to the other storms, but we're interested in Paulette here because Paulette is going to make a very close approach to the Bermuda Islands, to the island of Bermuda in the central Atlantic here. And the Hurricane Center is likely going to issue a hurricane watch probably early Saturday morning for the island of Bermuda, as the storm is expected to pass about as close as 30 nautical miles to the east-southeast of Bermuda. So that's very close. As you know, Bermuda is only 21 square miles long. And it's not yet known the extent of how far the hurricane winds extend out until after tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, when it actually becomes a hurricane. Right now, as you can see, tropical storm force winds extend out over 205 miles from the center of circulation. And this is going to be, the good news for Bermuda is going to be a pretty fast-moving system, but it could reach borderline Category 2, Category 3 strength, meaning winds could be in the range between 110 to 115 miles an hour sustained for the island of Bermuda. So right now, it is going to be moving, and it shouldn't be making its approach sometime on Monday afternoon, its closest approach into the Bermuda Islands. And then from there, it quickly accelerates somehow to the northeast around a break in the ridge of the high pressure that has retreated here. The Bermuda High has retreated. So it's going to accelerate in the break of the ridge out into the open ocean and become extratropical later on next week. And so that's the story with Paulette. And so all residents of Bermuda are getting prepared. They will experience some type of hurricane force winds, particularly on Monday afternoon and into Monday night. And then things should rapidly improve by Tuesday morning. And that'll be pretty much the end of Paulette's land interaction. But it still will be a very dangerous storm. It could become a major hurricane. That's not out of the question. Right now, the Hurricane Center has the intensity forecast to get up to about 105 miles, 110 miles an hour, 105 to 110 miles an hour. So that'll put it just below Category 3 strength. But this is likely to change depending on how Paulette strengthens once a hurricane forms tomorrow night and the eye can be seen, a visible eye, and how the bands of showers wrap behind the eye. Now, we have Renee behind it. Renee is not doing much. It still winds at 40 miles an hour, and this is going to be a fish storm, as we said before. It's moving west-northwest at 14 miles an hour, so no landfall there. And we have two areas of interest behind that coming off the Africa coast. The Cape Verde hurricane season continues to be active. This one has a 90% chance, and it's going to become a tropical depression by tomorrow. So look out for tropical depression number 20 to be issued tomorrow afternoon by 5 p.m., Saturday afternoon. And then we have one behind it again that's a 40% chance in 5 days of formation. We'll have to watch and see if there's any upwelling or anything that may affect this storm as it comes off the coast. Now, closer to home, tropical depression 19 continues its meandering around the Bermuda and upper Bahama, northern Bahama Islands there. And we have to watch this closely too as well, because there is a favorable area once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. This is forecasted to become a tropical storm. And so it won't have much real estate to work with, maybe about another 280 miles once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico before making landfall somewhere along the New Orleans, Mississippi, Biloxi area. So we look for this to be a strong tropical storm. This could get in the range of a 60-mile-an-hour tropical storm once it gets into that Gulf. Now, there is a possibility, I think, of intense ramification where this could become a minimal hurricane, but I don't know. It's going to have to go through a land interaction tonight as a depression, and Saturday night, whatever emerges off the western coast of Florida, of Naples, say on Sunday into the Gulf, and what shape it is, then that will determine its super strength, how it will be. But it is forecast to become a tropical storm, and the Hurricane Center has it becoming just below hurricane strength at around 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm. And so it may make hurricane, it may not, but this is going to be making landfall definitely between Biloxi and New Orleans. So, and that's going to be coming up probably sometime Tuesday into your Wednesday. So be prepared, be out for the outlook for that. The next name will be Sarah. If this does get to storm name, Tropical Depression 19 will become Sarah. If now it depends, because see, we have two storms racing. This here becomes a depression. They might just upgrade this to a tropical storm. So this may become Sarah way out in Africa before this becomes Sarah. Before this becomes the next name storm after that. So we just have to wait and see which one becomes Sarah first, because this one is looking very healthy. 19 is looking kind of disorganized right now, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens to it. But either way, Sarah is going to be the next name, and that's coming up very, very soon here in the tropical thing. This has an organization of showers just associated with trough and low pressure. There's nothing really going on with it. It's 30% chance of development. That's not going to develop, and it's going to be clear. Elsewhere in the Eastern Pacific, we have our typical waves. This one is going to be developing into a tropical storm in 5 days, and this one is just a typical wave off the coast of Mexico and Cabo that's not doing anything. It's just 20%. And the Central Pacific around Hawaii Islands looks absolutely fabulous. They have great weather. Nothing is going on out there as far as active storms. And so pretty much that's Paulette there making its way, its beeline in the middle Atlantic. You can see it was affected. One more thing, you can see it was affected by a lot of southwesterly shear. Well, now the shear is relaxing and the storms are starting to wrap around the center. Before, most of the storms are blown off to the north and east of the convection. Now the shear is starting to relax, and that's why Paulette is going to be strengthening to a hurricane tomorrow night, and then it's could become a major hurricane before passing Bermuda about 30 nautical miles to the east-southeast right now. And they think it even get closer, because basically it could be almost a direct hit on the island of Bermuda. And Bermuda, what makes this so interesting is that it's going to be on the east side, the worst side of the storm, not on the west side as it passes by. And so they'll have a brief period of sustained hurricane force winds, probably for 6 to 8 hours, possibly even 10 hours of hurricane force winds above 110 miles an hour, before things start to calm down on Tuesday morning, and the seas start to calm down as well. So be prepared for that, and be prepared for New Orleans and Biloxi, Mississippi, and the Gulf Coast. Be prepared for your tropical storm coming later on next week as well. This has been the Weather Guru. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thank you for joining me once again on this update. We look forward to talking to you soon.